Hey Jeff, how's it going? Hey Jean Francois. Now I have no idea what happened there because Eva wasn't even touching the desk, and there's no wires anywhere close to where her feet were.
YouTube hates
So
me.
it had to be, she probably said something that, was not allowed, or who knows.
Well, you haven't received a notice of a
Who the
strike.
heck knows,
You'll
Gordon?
receive a notice of a strike again.
Hello?
Hi.
Somebody with looks like Arabic letters there.
Yeah.
Uh, oh. Hello, Alan. Hey, Joe. Um,
Well, Moo, I
can you
have an
remember
article to read.
what we were saying a minute and a half ago? Here's Eva.
I was just reading an article about sound money. Apparently, YouTube has a problem with sound money. Oh, yeah, and that's right. I was also mentioning the fact that women need to think like men, which we can't do. JP Morgan CEO warns the most dangerous time in decades. Coming from a serial criminal organization like JP Morgan Chase, I find that quite interesting. This may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. That's according to JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon. His alarming statement accompanied the bank's latest earnings release. Oh, really now? I wonder how much ill-gotten gains from currency manipulation and commodities manipulation this one had in it. Just curious. Diamond is concerned about geopolitical strife in the Middle East, Ukraine, and elsewhere. He's also alarmed by rapidly deteriorating U.S. finances. Funny, he and his fellow banks are participating in that one up to their dang necks. But then again, there's probably some federal regulation that mandates they buy all those treasuries. Just saying. Diamond noted the Biden administration is running the largest peacetime fiscal deficits ever. Well, no shit, Sherlock. The unprecedented level of deficit spending, he believes, raises the risk of inflation remaining elevated and interest rates going even higher. Oh, and as a side note, if you've been missing it, all kinds of cool stuff's been happening over at usdebtclock.org, the website. Weird little quotes and things are showing up just about every day, something new. Very interesting. We don't know why, but it's really cool. Okay, just saying. Left unspoken are the implications for savers and investors who hold conventional financial assets. Hmm. Considering their conventional financial assets are debt instruments in other debt instruments and second and third level derivatives of debt instruments, yeah, they have every reason to be worried. Just saying. Holders of bonds, bank certificates of deposit, and other fixed income instruments stand to continue losing purchasing power. Well, no shit, Sherlock. And the stock market isn't exactly a safe place to invest during dangerous times. No, this is when you pull all the fiat out and you put the fiat aside so that when the stock market crashes, you can get stock for what it's actually worth. Most of it's only worth yard sale prices these days anyway. Diamond is unwittingly making the case for owning precious metals. Yeah, it is unwitting. The sudden outbreak of war in Israel helped boost the gold and silver markets last week. Gold gained $100 on the heels of safe haven buying. It's unlikely the conflict in the Middle East will be resolved anytime soon. With the U.S. actively supporting Israel's war efforts, America could get dragged further into conflict with Iran or other avowed enemies of the Jewish state. The risk of terrorist attacks against the U.S. and Israeli targets is also increasing. That said, the impact of geopolitical shocks on precious metals tends to be short lived. Fear alone won't drive a major long term bull market in gold. Steadily depreciating fiat currency, combined with favorable supply and demand fundamentals, will. De dollarization among foreign governments and central banks is one of the biggest emerging trends of 2023. As the U.S. Federal Reserve note loses market share, gold will gain. The People's Bank of China, the Panda Bank, reports net gold buying of 181 tons, that's NES, not short tons, real tons, so far this year. China, along with other BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and Iran, are close to developing a formal currency alliance that could pose a mortal threat to global US dollar dominance. Of course, it isn't US adversaries that are to blame for the dollar's loss of purchasing power. US adversaries have not caused US fiscal monetary policy to go off the rails. Our so called representatives in Washington have. Of course, it isn't US adversaries that are to blame at all. As precious metals serve as an alternative to financial assets, dangerous developments within the financial system will likely prove to be of far greater consequence to gold and silver prices in the months and years ahead than the wars that are currently commanding headlines. Absolutely. It should be noted that every once in a while, even a broken clock is right. And even somebody like Diamond can be right. Occasionally, we shall, you know, we shall look at that. And as another weird side note here, Federal Reserve redoubles efforts to re-educate the young. The Federal Reserve has taken its propaganda activities into a new, younger medium, Instagram and Threads. An announcement video posted to the social media platforms last week stars the cool chairman of the Federal Reserve System himself, Jerome Powell, with his hair slightly askew, not wearing his usual eyeglasses, and flaunting casual business attire. He addresses his audience. The Fed is America's central bank, working to promote a healthy economy and a strong financial system. That mission starts with you. October is National Economic Education Month, and throughout the month and beyond, we'll be posting here with information and other resources about how Fed decisions affect you, your family, and your community. Woohoo! Really now. If only this meant the Fed would endeavor to teach the American public about concepts of sound money. Hmm, yeah, especially now with consumer credit card debt going vertical. Just saying. The problems of fiat currency and monetary inflation, with the Fed's M2 money rate going vertical. Yeah. The risks of fractional reserve banking, since the FDIC and the National Credit Union Association have no reserves anymore. Yeah, that would be good. How the Fed enables big government in the warfare welfare state. Ooh, no, that could get him Epstein. Ooh, yikes. Or even how to be responsible with money. Sorry, their definition of being responsible with money is very different from mine. Instead, of course, the real purpose of the Fed's latest propaganda campaign to drive burnishing the central bank's increasingly damaged reputation. According to the Fed, the original intent of starting the Federal Reserve System was to enhance the stability of the American banking system while creating more elasticity in US currency. So, rubber checks or rubber dollar bills like rubber checks that bounce? Elasticity. Oh, yeah. Works great in money. We all want elastic money.
Let's replace responsible with culpable. How's that?
This gives privileged elite banks working with the Fed access to the discount window and influence over monetary and fiscal policies. As evidenced by the most recent panic earlier this year, the stability of the banking system is in serious doubt. However, the most obvious and long running failure as to the Fed's statutory mandate has been with regard to stable prices. Indeed, since the establishment of the Federal Reserve in 1913, the US dollar has lost almost all its value. As author and analyst David Morgan of the Morgan Report recently reported, inflation of the US dollar since 1913 has risen astronomically by 3,000.2%. We could handle the 3,000%. The point two is just, it's an insupportable burden. That's more than a 97% decline in value, according to the government's own numbers, which means it's optimistic. As the Fed continues to increase interest rates in an effort to rein in the ferocious inflation monster it unleashed since the recent pandemic, borrowing money becomes more expensive, which could slow down the rate of economic growth. Considering we haven't had any actual economic growth, as in real growth, in decades, that's kind of hard to slow down something that's not happening in the first. Oh, damn. This inflation is intensified as Congress continues to borrow money to fund the proxy war in Ukraine, the Green New Deal program, and other Biden administration priorities. Helping to enable fiscal recklessness in Washington, the Fed can only teach what not to do when it comes to money, rather than own up to their mistakes and vow to do better. Like we'd really believe that one. Fed officials have stooped to targeting young people on social media to stave off their growing public image nightmare from persistently high inflation and recession inducing rate hikes. There are plenty of resources for learning about fiscal responsibility, free markets, the ills of monetary inflation, and problems of government interventionism. The Tuttle Twins is a great option for teaching kids and preteens the concepts of sound economics, individual rights, and personal responsibility. Elijah Stanfield is the co-creator and illustrator of the Tuttle Twins. When asked over a phone call with Money Metals about the Fed's recent social media campaign, Stanfield remarked, Ron Paul brought up the Fed all those years ago, and this led so many people to start educating themselves since the government and the Fed were not doing it. There's really no way to rationalize what the Fed is doing with money or social media other than Benjamin Franklin's sentiment that inflation is just a hidden tax. All in all, the Fed is an authoritarian bully that helps the elite fund endless government spending while creating an underhanded way of stealing money from the American working class. As powerful as the Fed's propaganda might be, it has neither reversed the steady erosion of its credibility nor will it allow the Fed and the failed system it operates to escape the ultimate blame for hollowing out the savings of Americans, both young and old. Mhm. The goddess has been watching people online complaining about inflation lately and complaining about real loss of their dollar value and real loss of their spending power and how difficult life is getting. And the goddess notes that the miseducation that our government has been promoting for the last, as long as I have been alive, is finally coming to fruition because none of these people made the connection that it is the government printing money that is making money less valuable. Yeah, grown adults out here living in the world, some of them even on the right wing side of things, are still not making the connection for some bizarre and unaccountable reason that the problem is fiat currency. There is no way to have fiat currency that works long term, period, end of story. Okay? People are not getting that for some bizarre reason. In other random news, gold closed at $1,917.50, silver at $22.54, platinum at $891, palladium at $11.28, and rhodium had a $600 jump to $4,750 an ounce. Looks like rhodium may be crawling out of the toilet again. May actually get up to 20,000 an ounce again. That would be bizarre. Just saying, that would be really bizarre. As a gentle reminder, this is a good time of the year to be stocking your freezer. If you happen to live in a part of the world that actually has this winter thing that goes on, and you can have a poor man's ice box, it never hurts to have one of those either. But this is a very good time of the year to be cycling your pantry over, canning a lot of extra meats, picking up a lot of extra real food because real food tends to be cheaper than medications, just saying. And it's also a great time to head on down to your local coin shop and pick up some gold and silver because gold and silver are still on sale. As usual, I will be picking up some beautiful things tomorrow. Not sure what I'm going to get yet, but I always get something cool at my local stores. It certainly is a good use for the fiat that is hanging around the house. Your fiat should be working for you, and the best way to have it working for you right now is to get it into tangible assets that either are useful and consumable right now or will be useful and consumable later, like getting a cow. Not that I'm generally a fan of cows, they tend to be very stupid, but they are also very tasty. Just saying. And that's the thing. You need to turn your fiat currency into something that you have full control over. Because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Bye bye.
Shaggy says, have a good one.
Good night,
She does.
Shaggy.
Oh, my hair isn't on fire anymore. Okay. So, again, this week, spent most of the effort shoveling and doing some construction. Do a little more construction this week, a lot more shoveling this weekend. Weather looks good. Patrick says, thank you, Eva.
You're welcome.
And so that's the evil plan. Oh, yeah. Mm, good exercise. Me, strong bear. Um, I just got a question, too. I was thinking now, I just had the urge this weekend to turn the shoveling um, the rock and how I do it, what I believe is efficiently and stuff, and turn it into a little lesson there while still showing what I was doing. Did any of you find that helpful? And so I'm just wondering, I'm sure the people that don't spend a lot of time with a mattock and shovel could uh, gain some benefit, but I'm not sure how many of those people actually watch the show. Hmm, there's a fly over here.
Yeah, saw that earlier. We
I
have
presume
five water.
that fly is no longer around here. So, um, did anyone find any helpful hints there? Okay, Jeff, thank you. Say it's people get amazed, how much I get done in a weekend, but it's just because I'm constantly moving. As you notice, those shovels weren't exceptionally full. I wasn't moving exceptionally fast. What I was just continuous. And that's the key. If you work too hard, then you you wear yourself out. And so that's say one of those things is, first of all, make it as easy and efficient as possible. And then number two, set a pace you could just keep going. And this is especially important where we're working now because At the end of the day, we have that uphill commute home by foot, which is not much fun. Festina lentes, it goes the proverb. What does that mean, little one? Festina lente? Hurry up slowly. Okay. Yeah, I say. Thank you, Gordon. Um, I say it's amazing. Nobody teaches basics like that anymore. They just kind of assume that you know, but how are you going to know it if nobody teaches it to you? You know. So that's what I was trying to do, and I say it was an interesting trip. I'm not looking forward to busting up those rocks that are in the ditch now. It's not going to be much fun. Oh, that's right, too, little one. I need to get some more safety glasses because when I'm whacking on those uh, rocks, it can get interesting.
Yeah.
So I got that.
Well, we can check at Dollar Tree because we got them last time. Um, we have found them at Dollar Tree.
Got
we found
that.
them at thrift shop too.
Need to get this. Need to take Bugs to the carb guy tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
I talked to him today. So try and get that done.
Yeah, I think you'd have to take it out and drive it someplace under the conditions that the problem happens.
Let's see. The brackets. These are wood screws in, I'm sure, round holes, although I didn't look. It's kind of rusted, which is why the screws are still there. Presumably, there was some wood or something there that's now gone. These were carriage bolts in, say, what we believe are round holes, but we haven't checked. We'll have to take a look. So again, I presume these carriage bolts were clamped onto uh, wood, because if you laid a piece of wood across the top, then the round ends would be into the wood, which is the standard thing for a carriage bolt, and the nut would be holding the steel to it. So we shall see what we shall see. This particular location, we got a good assay at the upper level of what I'm working on now. But aside from that, we haven't really gotten anything really good. Eva's, because of the difficulty in retrieving samples from that location, we don't typically carry a whole lot back with us at the end of the day. But we'll keep trying to get some samples, each day and haul them up to pan them to kind of see what we can come up with. We also found some. Yeah, I know. Tricky Dicky said, I've got the job. All I got to do is get to the Philippines. Could you make an easy carry line? It's through a forest, uphill, rough terrain, blah, blah, blah. And I say it's just one of those spots where if you wanted to get to it a lot, you're just going to have to spend some time building a path, and probably the best vehicle would be a four-wheel drive quad. That would get you there and back. Still got about, I don't know, less than 100 yards of path clearing and maybe a few little things. This last pitch would be a lot of side hill. So I'm not sure exactly what the best route would be. But if you did it to the near dump, then you've got to cut through a couple of big trees, laying down. There's a lot of trees laying down that make life a little complicated. Very annoying. Jean-Francois says his first translation was bad. Make haste slowly.
Mm-hmm.
His thing. You might say make haste carefully. You know, but I say it's one of those things. We're just trying to get access to where we can get some samples, and then uh, go from there. We did a calculation earlier tonight, and we expect, you know, several hundred feet of tunnel, possibly, 200 to 300 feet from the size of the dumps. Well, I can use a shovel to dig gooey ducks. I'm not sure about a pick. I've never had a gooey duck. I have had horse clams, but yeah. So I say that's our situation right now. Nothing real exciting. We got some other stuff. We're trying to get lined out for next season. If it works out, we're testing that. The samples we got from the mystery dump, and if those continue to work out and process well, and no unexpected horrors show up, then we should be able to spend another weekend or two there trying to find the vein that they were digging on, and see what's left in that. So, and there's just lots of stuff up at top of the hill where you're wondering, okay, what do they do there? Why did they stop there? What was that all about? One place up there that I want to know is at the end of a particular trench that got buried. I'm wondering if it would make sense to start digging through a little soil and see what continues past the end of that trench. So, got lots of plans. How's everything going with you, Jim? Haven't seen you in a while. Everything progressing well? Here it's getting cold up on the mountain. Don't know what elevation you're at, but hoping things are going well with you. And that's about it. We got that possible highly dense mineral in the, it looks like quartz crystals, but it might be something else that we panned a little bit, very little bit, like 6 little specks. If it was gold, I still wouldn't be getting excited, sort of thing. But it was just odd. And
all kind of odd.
That's it. We should get some results from the lab about those bottle rolls, so that'll give us some data to work on. If everything works out well, then we'll probably go ahead and start processing that. We got 2 or 3 tons of ore from the mystery dump there that we could work, and then Eva still has. Okay, Jen, sounds about right. Yeah, gooey ducks pipe. He says, done with the mountain for the year, finishing firewood, and then ready for winter. And then Eva's still trying to figure out what's going on in the disturbed area. So, snow holding back, we might be able to find where the quartz came from there. Although, so far the assays are nothing exceptional.
Next time we're up at the top of the hill, I want to stop and take a look at a couple of juniper.
Yeah, see if we can confirm that juniper association with quartz outcroppings. That could be very useful. We shall see. We might be able to do that down there where those underground workings are 500 feet below our feet and see if we could use that to try and find the outcropping. Hard to tell. Anyone got any questions or subjects or anything to address? Oh. Uh, uh, does anyone remember that comedy video I made about 3 or 4 years ago about Prospectors Fitness University International? And if so, okay. Let me get. I was looking it up because Gruber Ned went and did a comedy video this week, and I tried to show him my one comedy video, and he I couldn't put it as a link or even the text apparently as a comment on his stream. So let me get the link here. I know I can post it on mine. Let's see.
Yeah, what you did about.
Oh yeah, I found it earlier. It takes a while to scroll down through all this stuff.
Yeah, we probably should have tagged it comedy.
Adventures in Atlanta. Yeah, I'm close now. There it is, right there. So, Control C.